Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Retreat. I am your host, Danielle Amaris Owens, and today we're going to do things a little bit different. Today I have a question, and this question I believe will spark a great discussion for all to be able to partake in. And that is, what do you all feel about toxic masculinity versus, in contrast to, radical feminism? I know, I just said a whole lot, and I know many of you, your mind is already, the wheels are already turning. Now, as a disclaimer though, I do recognize and acknowledge that there are many different genders out there that many can claim because we have the freedom of expression. However, given that we are specifically discussing heterosexuals that fall under toxic masculinity and radical feminism. I don't know, my words are kind of like running all over the place today. I guess because this is such an exciting yet extremely controversial topic. So bear with me, the nerves are going, but I'm just curious. Again, I'm coming this time wanting to spark a debate and to get the conversation going. Now, we all know that masculinity falls under the male gender, femininity falls under the female gender, but we're specifically discussing the two extremes and what qualifies and what filters through what it means to have toxic masculinity and what it means to be a radical feminist. Now, let's just dive right in. Toxic masculinity are masculine norms that have been deemed unhealthy or toxic to male, women, society as a whole. These are things that fall under male agendas that maybe we as a culture, society, as a nation, as a world have said, you know what, I know that's been going on and that may work for some, but we as a whole, the masses, have decided that that is toxic and we don't want it. And then on the other scale, the feminine nature. We're talking about radical feminism. Now, let me just start off by saying the feminine movement, I think for what its basis is, I'm with it. As a woman, yeah, I want equal pay. If we're doing the same job, why should you get more money than me? That I'm with. Listen, why can't I be in certain offices? Is there a physical qualification that I don't stand for? If not, then yeah, I'm going to fight for that too. But when we speak about radical feminism, we are talking about a feminine agenda that is designed to eradicate the male presence. That's what radical feminism is. That's not to get confused with feminism or the feminine movement. We're just fighting for equality as it pertains to our income, our status, and things of that nature. But the radical side of it, the extreme side of it, is saying we don't want men in this position anymore. A man can't do this. When we start talking about what the female body can and cannot do, we don't want any men in that discussion. That can work for and against us, and we're going to explain why. And then again, I want to hear some of your thoughts on how this works. So here's my question to everyone. Who gets to decide what is toxic masculinity? Now, I come from a very old school family where the men were honored and revered as the head of a household. And it's not to say that a woman couldn't do or couldn't be the head. I mean, there are different qualifications for that as well. People feel like if the woman makes more money, she gets to make more decisions. To each its own, right? But from my perspective, there was nothing toxic about a man being honored as the head. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Now, like I said, I grew up very old school. My family's very old school. And that's not to say that we are blind to the way society is moving today. But there's certain things, like I said, I support the feminist movement as far as it goes to having equal status concerning those things that do not have a physical requirement. But But at the same time, let me be very clear. I know that there are a lot of things that I can do that men that men have taken over for centuries and centuries at a time. Men cut the grass. A woman can cut the grass. We used to say that, men were mechanics. I believe a woman can become a mechanic. But here's the thing. If I wanted to do those things, I could. But my take on it, and this is just me, I just keep it real with y'all and how I feel. I feel as though there's really nothing that a man can do that a woman can't do outside of physical qualities. Certain things that just require a man. I can't get a woman pregnant. Only a man can do that. Let's just be clear. But even with all the things that I am able to do as a woman, there are some things I just prefer a man to do, and I'm going to give him his place to do that. If I get married one day, from my mouth to God's ears, regardless of what the income is in the household, I want the man that I'm with to lead. I want him to make the big decisions. I want to be able to follow suit. I want to be able to be a helpmate and a helpmeet to him. Does that mean that I can't do it by myself? If tragedy strikes, will I be able to maintain my household? I have to. That does not take away anything from him. And him being the head of the household that I should be a part of, and me being the one to, again, give him that authority to make certain decisions takes nothing away from me. But there's some extremists and that are from male heterosexuals that feel like, they can override completely the role of a woman and make the lines of demarcations very clear. And so, it's like a whole stew pot of opinions and how we classify what belongs to men and what belongs to women. Now, again, remember my disclaimer. You got men, you got women, and you got everything in between. I do acknowledge that there's some in between there, but that's not up for debate in this particular discussion, because I just want to know what people feel concerning what qualifies as male toxic masculinity versus extreme feminism. Because you have the men that want women to be in their place, and then you have the women who are like, I don't need a man for nothing. I could do it. I want to do it. And they can go. And it's like, can't we all just get along? I don't know. I'm trying. But what are your thoughts? Because we've seen in the headlines as of late, we've seen in the headlines where, in case some of you haven't, prime example, people are saying that rapper T.I. from Atlanta, married to Escape member Tiny Harris, he went on an interview and said that he takes his daughter, his youngest daughter, or not the baby, but one of his daughters, he goes with her to the gynecologist every year to find out if she's still a virgin. She makes them check her hymen. Many feel like is toxic masculinity. Oh, just because you're her dad, you have a right to know what's going on with her body. And again, I'm a little old school. It's a little radical for me, but as a father, there's certain things. This is my idea. Know your place. Know your place. You're going to tell another man how to raise his child? Is that your place? Is that common notion that it's wrong? I don't know. But at the same time, we call that toxic masculinity. But what if her mother was taking her? Checking to see if she was still a virgin. What is that? I don't know. But this is what is in our culture today. This is what we're discussing. And I just want to know, I need to know where the lines are drawn, where you feel the lines are drawn, because I feel like until we make this discussion something that's in the forefront, we're going to constantly be at war with one another. And I just feel like the more we're at war with one another, the less we're being productive. And we have to find a way. We're on this earth, we live together, just to figure out how we're going to maintain relationships, healthy relationships, and continue to produce and build families and build communities and build our government to be able to sustain the window of opportunity that has always been here. Why are we chopping, cutting, and switching and moving stuff around? I don't know. That's just my thought. I really want to talk about it. I really want to figure out, where you all are. Maybe you can help me understand, how we filter these things out. Maybe you can understand why you support or are against one of the two. And I kind of want to know too, where do we find the common ground? I think that's the most important thing, because we're so busy at odds that no one has even really talked about the common ground in between. And I'm very interested to find out with some of you all, some of those who have been listening on to some of these shows, what you have to say. So let me know what you think. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook. On Facebook, you can find me under Danielle Amaris Owens. Under Instagram, you saw it on the, there it is, at Danielle Amaris. That's Amaris. Yes, y'all. But let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments, DMs, Instant Messenger, all of that. Anyway, until then, y'all have a great day. God bless you. Y'all are in my prayers. Mwah. Oh,